Well, we got ourselves a quarterback, and yeah, Desmond Ridder. Kind of ironic in the end here. But yeah, Desmond Ridder is now officially our new quarterback. So we got Joe Burrow, Jake Browning, Logan Woodside, and now Desmond Ridder. Which, listen, is training camp. This is the type of stuff we're going to see. We're going to see people get picked up just for extra arms in training camp. Is it really that big of a deal? No. But at the end of the day, what we're going to see is Desmond Ridder is probably going to play some preseason games. Yes, Joe Burrow will probably play a drive, maybe two, throughout all preseason. But outside of that, Jake Browning will be the, full-time starter through preseason. But you also need two other quarterbacks. So we'll see. Maybe Desmond Ridder could put up some actual tape and maybe he can get a chance to sign with another club down the line. But at the end of the day, cool. Yeah, it's one of those situations where it's like Desmond Ridder never worked out in the NFL, but you never know. You got Sam Darnold, who looked like he was going to be a bust, and now, Sam Darnold is actually considered like a top, I think he's like a top 10 quarterback right now, like consideration. Baker Mayfield looked like he was going to be a bust, and then now he's a top, at least like top 10 quarterback. So again, like you never know. A person goes to a different club, they get a new chance, and maybe they're successful. Now, Desmond Ridder, still very young, so, you throw in the ball here. You're not going to be throwing the ball to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins because he's, playing with the second and third string guys. But he's still throwing the ball to a pretty good roster. So maybe he can put some game tape out there and find himself on another club by the end of, this year. So this is, of course, Desmond Ridder, who was a former third-round pick for the Atlanta Falcons. Did not work out. Again, he's only 3 years in the league. It's so crazy to think that, too. Like, he was a third-round pick, and after 2 years, they were like, yeah, you're not the guy. You're just not the guy. So they just cut him. They just got rid of him. So he's only been in the league for 3 years now, and you don't normally see this. You really don't. Normally with quarterbacks, especially, if you draft a quarterback with a third-round pick, you're not putting that much capital into him, but you're putting enough where you're like, okay, well, we're going to at least ride this out for 4 years. And if he's not the starter, we'll at least see if he can, be a capable backup. The Falcons are in a weird place. They got the Kirk Cousins situation where they gave him all that money and then they had to bench him because he wasn't good. And then they went with Penix. Like, they drafted a quarterback with the 9th overall pick when they already had Kirk Cousins. I guess it worked out in the end for them with that, kinda, depending on how Penix does. But, again, the Falcons need to be studied for the decision-making. Like, the Bengals front office, don't get me wrong, we have our own issues, we have our own problems. But I feel like there needs to be some kind of studying into the Falcons as well. Because the Falcons are an interesting squad. Even more that they could have had Lamar Jackson back in the day, but they decided not to not to go ahead and go for him because they was trying to stop the whole guaranteed contracts. So they could have had Lamar Jackson. Again, like I said, it's just like there's so many question marks with them, but he did play last year with the Raiders where he went 0-1 for when he started one game. 6 for 7 with the Falcons. Didn't we? I felt like we played him last year. Was he on the Titans at one point? I don't know why, but I feel like we played him. Maybe we played him in 2023. No, there's no way. Hang on, hold up. I gotta pull this up because I feel like we played this guy. He was on the Titans, wasn't he? No, that was Mason Rudolph. Okay, never mind. That was Mason Rudolph we played him. Maybe we didn't play the Falcons last year. Did we? No, we didn't. I don't know why. I felt like we played him recently. When I say recently, I mean within the last year. But I feel like we did, but I guess we didn't. Okay. I don't know. It's like Desmond Ridder is that type of quarterback where it's like, you know, when you start to see like, okay, quarterbacks start becoming backups and going to different teams, and maybe they're not as, like you kind of remember them and you're like, oh wait, that's that guy. That's kind of where I feel like he's at. He's at that kind of spot. Las Vegas Raiders, Arizona Cardinals signed him to the practice squad, released him from the practice squad. Yeah, no. Okay, so he was traded to the Cardinals in 2024, and he ended up getting cut. He didn't make the roster, so that's why he doesn't show up on here. So, okay, well, shout out to him. Again, like I said, he gets a chance to show what he is, and maybe he gets a chance to be great. It does say obviously the supposed saying it's a homecoming for him. So, hey, the 2025 Euro started 4 games in his rookie season and took over the starting job during sophomore campaign. Ridder appeared 19 games, 17 starts over the 2 seasons in Atlanta, and 14 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Bye-bye. Peace out.